Hello, my name is Michelle Lucas. I study media management at the Hamburg Media School. In case you didn't know, the Hamburg Media School has been the academic partner of the online marketing rockstars since the very beginning. Two quick notes before we start. Please leave your headphones on your seats before you leave. And please register here so you can join in during the presentation. Now I'm very happy to introduce you to the next speaker, Tatjana Biallas. Have fun.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you just quickly do that, maybe? Just because everyone is like, okay, awesome. Yeah, happy to be here. I'm Tatjana. Maybe just quickly up front, is everyone registered here? If you want to be interactive and have a little bit of fun, you can do that now. I'll give you maybe 1 more minute till we start, and then we kick off. If you want to send me some more likes, that'd be really lovely. Yeah, maybe for all the people, at home, I'm saying hello to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, UK, right? We have a live stream, just in case you didn't know. All right, I'd say we start. Time, guys, is the most precious thing we actually have in this world. It's way more valuable than any money you can possibly ever earn. And if you think about it, and if you work really, really hard, you're going to obviously at some point hopefully earn a lot of money. But with time, sadly, we all have only a limited amount of time. And it's not infinite. And today, it's all about attention and about how you set your priorities. And I'm super excited that you give me 90 minutes of your time, and we're going to have a little bit of fun together now. So welcome to the secret sauce to capture your audience attention. And I want to dive with you a little bit into the psychology of online behavior today. And there are really 3 things I want you to take away and learn. Firstly is, how do you actually get the audience attention? And when you got the audience attention, how do you get them to click? And once they click, you maybe also want them to do something on your website and maybe convert. So these 3 things we're really going to look at. And when it comes to action, I want you to start now on being a bit more actionable. And we start with a super easy question. Taboola, yeah, what the heck is Taboola actually? I want to know what you guys know about us. So please go onto Menti now on your phones. And, yeah, okay, a couple of emojis are here already. First question. The faster you answer, the more points you get. And obviously this is a game, so there's going to be something you can win in the end. Is it working? Okay, lots of players are in. Who's the penguin? You don't need to say. Okay, get ready, guys. It's getting exciting. What the heck is Taboola? So now you have 15 seconds left to vote. Is it something to eat? Is it a content discovery platform? Is it an influencer marketing agency or something you've never heard about? Okay. Yay! Most of you know what we are. Well done, everyone. Okay, so this is just a warm-up. Let's go back to the deck. What the heck is Taboola? For the couple of people in the room who didn't know what it was, we're going to do a very, very quick intro. So basically, I always like saying, Taboola is something you've seen before, especially when you read an article and you get to the bottom of the article, like here on this beautiful tablet or on your mobile phone during your vacation, and at the bottom of the article, you get recommendations personalized for yourself. Our CEO always likes to say, we want to connect people with things they didn't know even exist. And we have a 2-sided business model. On the one hand side, we work with publishers. Publishers enjoy working with us because we help them to monetize their site and generate more revenues. And on the other side, we work with advertisers who come to us to get more reach, generate clicks, brand awareness, but ultimately get attention. And that's what we're talking about today. So who's heard about this goldfish story, that people apparently have even less attention spans or shorter attention spans than goldfish? So I think it's a little bit silly, but Microsoft basically a couple of years ago said like that they did tests and studies that we have only 8 seconds of an attention span, and goldfish have apparently 9. So even goldfish can concentrate longer on something than we can do that. But I think this is absolutely rubbish. And there's one thing what's obviously true. There's a lot of information nowadays out there. It's an overkill, and it's very hard to focus on what we really want. Our founder keeps saying on the open web is like Times Square. Everything is blinking and buzzing and like loads of action, and it's hard to really pick out what you want. And I found this lovely quote. So sorry, second quote in 10 minutes. I'm this awful person who always has a quote. And nobody's too busy. It's always a matter of priorities. And actually, the other day, I want to tell you a quick story. I came across an article, and it said, like, if someone asks you what you're doing and you say, like, you're too busy, this is the most lame answer you can possibly give someone, and you're an actual loser. And I have to admit, I'm that loser too, because I'm busy all the time. I'm super important. I'm super cool to be busy. But actually, it's not super cool to be busy. That was the essence of this article. And it's way nicer to tell people, actually, right now, you're maybe not my priority, but I'm working on X, Y, Z. But why am I actually talking about this is, you guys, if you're marketeers or even publishers, no matter who you are in the audience, you want your brand, your story to become a priority for a user. And that's what I want to help you today with. Let's become a priority for your customers. And if we quickly think about attention spans again, I'm always amazed that people say like we have less attention. But when it comes to Netflix, suddenly we have 4 or 5 hours in the evening and enjoy, watching, I don't know, House of Cards or whatever you guys might watch. And suddenly we have time. And why do we have time? Because it's emotional, it's authentic, it's real, it's fun, it's entertaining. And that's what we need to deliver. Okay. I want to know though, how well do you actually rank your own content marketing strategy? So let me read that question. How successful would you rate your content marketing strategy on a scale from 1 to 5? Now you have time to rank. You don't get points for this, I think. I'm really amazed. 46, 49 people. Awesome. A couple of more. Okay, 2.9. There's room for improvement, I think. $70 people voted. How does that actually work, Janina? How long are we going to keep running then? Okay. Well, it obviously looks like some of you say like, oh, it's not poor, it's not excellent, we're all average here, and obviously we don't want to stay average, right? I want you to leave this room and then hopefully all have some strategies in mind that you can next time, maybe next year when I come back, you can all say you're excellent. Let's go back to the deck, please. And one more question before we go into all the stories and the theories. What are the ingredients for successful content marketing from your point of view? So now I need you to be a little bit more creative and actually type something. What are the ingredients for successful content marketing? Is the internet slow or no one has an idea? Oh, yeah, stories, yeah. Oh, they're okay. Good content, entertainment, catchy. I hope rel means real, but yeah. Typos are okay. Relevance. Amazing. Okay, keep them coming. I'm absolutely happy that you actually put that word relevance, because that's an absolute key topic when it comes to our business, because what we literally do is, right, our job is to connect the right people to the right story. And if it's not relevant to you, it's not going to capture your attention and you're not going to click on it. And you mentioned an awful lot of other good stuff. As we said, stories, emotion, customization, Neugierde. What else do we have? Brand safety. We don't talk about this today, but yeah. Okay, brilliant. Let's go back to the deck. So, Thank you for that. What I want to really say to you, content marketing is marketing to you today. In case in your companies you don't do content marketing yet, that can't be the case because no product is good enough that you don't need a good story to sell it. So what I really want to encourage you to do is, even so there are a lot of funky, cool buzzwords out there like discovery marketing and native advertising. That's all not new. Focus on the core things, on the story and the emotions around your brand. So we're going to look at 3 key things what we believe are crucial for good content marketing. Obviously, you need to understand your data and audiences. And luckily nowadays we have access to way more information than we used to have. Big data is there, and companies like us help you to obviously really understand this information. Then, as I said, the story is important. And then if you don't have a good distribution platform, how you can actually, deliver the content to the right people at the right time, it's not going to help you. Today we're going to focus a lot on green and gray, not so much on yellow, even though this is our background, but I think you all know what we do. So we launched a really cool new product a couple of months ago, and it's all around data and audience trends. And the best thing up front, it's absolutely for free, and you could even go there now. It's called trends.taboola.com. And what we do is, because we sit on this massive amount of data of all these campaigns in our network, we know what people are reading, right? What they're clicking on constantly around the globe, and also here in Germany. And so we've delivered a platform where you can access it, and you get information about image trends and keyword trends. And what it really should help you with is, before you start a campaign, even if you don't work with Taboola, it doesn't matter. It might help you whether you should put a woman on a picture or rather a guy. You can filter by language. You can filter by geography. You can filter by verticals. If you're in the healthcare sector, you can filter health, and you will get different words. Or if you're in the, fashion business, you get different results. I want to show you a little bit what results we're lately getting. We're here in Germany now. So let's have a look what Germans like to click on, what sort of images. No surprise, we like schnitzels and dogs. So what this really tells you, when you include food in your images or cute animal, doesn't have to be just a dog, also a cat works very well, as we know. Your CTR, your click-through rate, increases by like a massive 219% if you put with food on, and 187% if you put a dog on. So obviously it doesn't make sense that everyone puts food and dogs on images now. But let's say, I don't know, for instance, you're like a furniture company and you want to sell a table. Maybe it would look great on the image to put a fruit bowl on it instead of just an empty table. Let's look at the headlines as well, the kind of keywords people click on. And again, this is Germany. We're like at the end of Q1, and if you haven't planned your entire holiday for the year, you're late. So holiday is obviously crucial. Some of us can't go far away because they don't find good deals, so they have to stay in their garden. And they make it obviously very pretty and nice. And that's why we look at pictures, and ideally we click on some tests because we want to save money. We are all very conscious about what we actually earn. But nevertheless, we like dreaming about luxury cars and maybe one day also owning one. And typically for us Germans, obviously football is our main sport, so that's still something what's getting tons of clicks. And the one odd one is dental implants. I don't know what's wrong with your teeth. I live in the UK for 8 years, and I know they have bad teeth, but I always thought Germany has good teeth. Obviously not. Okay. So we have Easter around the corner. Let's look at some image trends around Easter. And we specifically at Taboola wanted to know what's going to get you more clicks in the next couple of weeks. And obviously, eating is again a very big topic. And I wanted to know, is it maybe different in Germany to the UK and also the US? So we had a look at, if you now include an image in your campaign where food is included, what impact does it have? And it shows you, okay, in the UK, yeah, they like clicking on food too, but not too much, only 14% uplift. Whereas shockingly, in the States, if you put food on, I mean, they have probably so much food overload all the time, it actually decreases your campaign performance. Minus 38%. But now, how is Germany doing? Yep, it's insane. We like our Easter eggs. I mean, we didn't expect that either, but it's now the time to put some food on your images because it increases your click-through rate by, it nearly doubles it really. So why am I actually showing you all this stuff? Because it's so important to understand what people interact with and click with when it comes to your own strategies. And before thinking about others, let's think about ourselves. Are you actually even aware of your online behavior? And there's another question for you. So time to go back to Menti. Yeah, this is actually, this is quite interesting. Let's have a quick look who's doing well. Alex, Moritz, Heike. Very nice. Savi, Caro, you guys need to work a bit harder to get to the top, but you know, there are a couple of questions left. Okay, let's go to the next one. Get ready. So the question is, how many times does a person uses its phone on an average day? 25 times, 50 times, 80 times, or 100 times? The average person, so probably don't think about yourself. We're all online marketing rock stars. We're probably all a little bit more addicted than the rest of the population. Oh, wow. As I said, online marketing rock stars, they like to use their phone. So actually, it's like 84 times if we go back to the deck. So this is a study from 2015, so probably by now it's 100 times. People actually estimated themselves that they touched it around 37 times. In reality, then was 84 times. So what does it tell you? I mean, it doesn't really matter how often you touch it or not, or use it or not. But it shows you that often people actually don't even notice how much part it's of our life already. So talking more a little bit about phones, I want you to think about that. How many times do you actually touch it? So not just using it, literally each time you take it from over here to over there, put it in your pocket, check the watch. Okay, we have some movement on the top. Welcome, Dominic, to number 1. Caro kind of dropped out of the top 10, but you know that happens. How many times does a user touch its phone on an average day? So we have 50 times, 500 times, 1,000 times, or 2,500 times. Over, actually, 2,500 times. So this is each time it's over the specific number. Oh, really? Guys, come on. I even go to the loo and take my freaking phone with me. You know, we touch this all the bloody time. Let's go back to the deck. So the real number is 2,617 times. And that's only the average. So heavy users, and I include myself in there, probably over 5,000 times. So that means like roughly 6 to 7 times an hour. I mean, it depends on your job. You know, on a boring day, you might look at it obviously more often. So now we learned a little bit why, how often you use your phone and how important it is to understand your own behavior. Because from now onwards, in the next probably 15, 20 minutes, I want you to put yourself in your consumer's mind, into possibly other people, not just yourself. And to get that started, if we think about online behavior, there are probably 2 different kind of mindsets. So we have on the one hand side the goal-oriented lady, and if we look at her, she's the one who's super focused. She's maybe searching something, studying something, and she probably, you know, she doesn't have time to click on a Taboola ad. That's her, because she's relaxed, she's exploring, she has time. You know, she's maybe also watching something on Netflix, who knows. But we want to focus on that kind of consumer, because that consumer is in a mindset where they're open to experience something new. The lady on the left is maybe already booking a holiday or buying something, but she doesn't have time to think about anything else. So now let's look at a little demonstration how the typical Taboola user comes across an ad or how they're surfing. So this is not just any website really. In your lunch break, you're reading a nice article, you're looking at the images, getting at the bottom of the article, and then you see Taboola's feed, various personalized recommendations for you, and you're browsing around and looking at what you could potentially click on next. And I want you to think now what kind of process you go through when you decide to click on something. So this is now just an example of personalized recommendations. Now take your time, look at this, and think about it, what kind of images you're actually spending time with. What headlines are capturing your attention and why? So that's a question just for the audience. We're not going back to Menti. Just like someone maybe can throw it in. What do you think of what picture are we actually looking at? Someone said dog here? Yeah? Something else? Children? Yeah? Absolutely. So these three images really capture our attention. The young child or boy, I don't know exactly, it's not really clear. The, the Nike shoes, because they have obviously this colorful, the screen is like really in your eyes, and the cute little dog. So let's go into a little bit more detail why we're actually clicking on these kind of images. And what you've maybe noticed when you looked at that example, that first you just screen quickly and you see an image, so you have to notice something. Then you start reading something before you decide to click, and then you take an action. So when you think about your own campaigns, any marketing strategy really, whether it's social or whether it's search or discovery, you need to follow all these steps, because no user can take an action without actually clicking, and no one can click without taking or noticing something. And that might sound actually very easy, but I tell you, I'm looking at probably in a week at 50, 100 different campaigns, and pretty many people get it actually wrong. So take a note of that. So how do we actually get your item to be noticed? And therefore, we need to quickly go back into psychology and theories. So there are two systems in our brain. So I was told, because I haven't studied psychology. They're the fast system and the slow system. So the fast system is all the stuff you automatically do without even thinking. So most people would, for instance, say when you're on your way to work, you drive, and that automatically happens. Probably for most of you, not for me, because I tell you a quick story. I have to say that even so it's super embarrassing. This is basically last week, I went on a business trip, and I went to my hometown, and my dear colleague was supposed to drive, but she forgot her license. We had a rental car, and then I had to drive, and I moved to the UK 8 years ago. I haven't driven a car since then, and I can tell you my fast system didn't work anymore. Literally, I didn't know that you don't put a key in a hole anymore, so you have to press a button. But it wasn't so easy. So for me, the slow system had to work. No accident happened, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here, so all fine. So I want you to remember these two things of two modes of thinking. The fast system for everything what happens automatically. The slow system whenever you need to actually use your brain to do something more complicated. And at Taboola, we constantly ask ourselves, how do you actually, what kind of images trigger your fast system? What stimulates it? And no surprise, probably people. People click better than things. But why is that? So we need to go really now back into the time when we were half naked in the jungle. And back then, obviously, sometimes you would face, for instance, a tiger. And it's obviously very dangerous, because if you're there with a tiger, probably the tiger will win and you potentially might not survive. So what happened in our brain? That we have a special area for face recognition. Because if we recognize a friend or a family member, they can help you, can quickly tell you, hey, you need to hide. There's a tiger coming, so let's hide somewhere and we're going to be safe. So for that very simple reason, we still nowadays are drawn to images of people, of faces particular. And if we even go deeper, another quote really close to my heart, eyes are the window to your soul. And it's really, really true. That's also proven that when someone looks straight at you, you can really, you get an emotion, you get a reaction what they're actually thinking. And that clicks very well. If you look at this image, probably most people would feel something before they even know what they're looking at. Because for that very reason that we have this thing in your brain, I forgot this term. Now it would be good to have the notes, but it doesn't matter. We have a content strategist in our team, and she always has these funky psychology words, but fusiform something, I don't know, face recognition. Yeah, exactly. Someone said it, so that's the one. So anyways, remember that just faces click extremely well, that obviously eyes specifically, so close-ups, and people who show emotions, any kind of emotions, whether it's happiness, whether it's sad, or like this little cute girl here. Something very different is color. So you see in this color wheel here that we associate certain terms or certain words with certain colors. Red could be angry, green could be happy, blue could be sad. But if you think about yourself, when I looked at this, I thought like, red isn't angry for me, red is for me love. And what that really tells you is that colors are not inherently linked to emotions. So that means colors have really more something to do with your own history, with your upbringing, with your culture. So just keep that in mind when you work internationally, that maybe color like green means more hope in Germany, I think. And that doesn't necessarily also translate into in a different nation to the same thing. But when it comes to color, it's really important to stick out. And maybe you remember these green Nike boots or shoes, sneakers, in the beginning, couple of slides back, that really got your attention, like this penguin here. And it's actually funny, at Taboola, it's the case that black and white images very often get higher clicks than colorful images. But why is that really? If you think about our Times Square online world, where everything is flashing and colorful, if you're suddenly the one who has a gray image or a sepia image, then it's the one which sticks out. But by all means, please, if you do have Taboola campaigns with us, don't change everything. If everything's black and white, it won't work anymore. Videos. Again, I think like with people and things, it's no surprise that video really draws us in. It's impossible to ignore. And it literally goes back again to the time in the jungle and the tiger. And again, it comes to when something moves and our brain can't capture that, we're screwed. I wanted to say fuck, but I didn't. Okay. So we do need to really, if you want to get the attention, videos obviously work way better than images. Cool. Now let's talk about all the things you need to do to get actually someone to click. And now I want you to also become active again after this slide, which is actually the one where I was really horrified about. I told you about this content strategist in my team. She studied psychology, and she showed me this, and I said, like, what does that actually mean, cognitive bias, the systematic pattern of deviation? Even when I read that 3 times, it didn't make sense to me. But she said very simply, people tend to believe that it's rational to make a decision, that it's in your hand to make a decision. But actually, most of the time it's not, and you make a decision just naturally based on cognitive biases. And we're going to look at these cognitive biases, and then it's all going to make sense to you. Promise. Okay, first question. Let's go to our lovely system. So maybe, Janina, just wait one more second. You need to look at this quickly and just remember A or B. So I want you to tell me which ad probably gets more clicks. A, everyone is using the new 24-hour makeup, waterproof makeup, or B, the new 24-hour waterproof makeup. Okay, which image drives higher conversions, A or B? 26 people voted already. $52, maybe a couple of more. Yeah, it looks like you all tend to go for A. Let's show the correct answer. Can we go to the next thing, Janina? Actually, no, we need to go back to the presentation. Thank you. Okay, so the correct answer is obviously A. And why is that? So it's called the bandwagon effect. And that literally means that little word, the little difference is everyone. If everyone is using it, you also want to have it. Aside of the few people who want to be unique and cool like hipsters, but we also know that they're not doing what everyone is doing. So keep that in mind when you write some headlines, that this one little sentence or that one little word, everyone, can really make a massive difference. Okay, next one. Now we're having installed a game that everyone's addicted to, or try this game for 1 minute, you'll see why everyone's addicted. Janina is going back here. Yeah. Let's see. Nearly 50 people voted already. Looks like you favor B. I think A is not too bad either. Okay, I think it's clear you guys again picked the right thing. And if you can go back, please. we call that effect, or that cognitive bias, foot in the door. And if anyone here is in sales like me, you're going to know that the foot in the door effect is great, because that's what you need in the beginning, right? You need one little thing from someone, and once they're excited, then they hopefully do something for you or buy something. I make you an example from your day-to-day. If you have a dog, obviously it's smart to first ask your friend, hey, can you watch over my dog for an hour or so in the afternoon? Before next week you tell them, hey, I'm going with my boyfriend to Miami, maybe you can take care for the dog for a week. The likelihood that if they've already watched the dog for an hour the week prior is probably higher that they're also going to take care of the dog during the holiday. So basically, get a foot in the door. And in this specific case, obviously, if you want someone to play a game, that sounds like an awful lot of time. And we all know the thing with the time, we don't have an awful lot of time. So if you say to someone, you have 1 minute, well, they'll give you a minute possibly. Next one. We can maybe go straight to Menti, right? Which image drives higher conversion? And now we don't have the image? I know we do. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so this is a hearing aid client. And they ran a campaign with us, Start Hearing Again with this new technology, the size of a coffee bean. And you see the headlines are exactly the same. The only difference is once it's an older gentleman and once it's a younger gentleman. So which one possibly gets better clicks? Maybe I should give you a hint. That the vast majority of people who do need a hearing aid are obviously a certain age, right? But I appreciate that you all think the young hot guy could also wear one, because obviously if that's your target audience for the people who do need one, then that would be right. But in this case, if we go back to the presentation, please, the answer is green, because much larger demographic of people who need a hearing aid are older people, and we call that the similarity effect, for the reason that they obviously feel like, okay, look at him, he's like me, then it makes sense. Whereas the young, pretty guy, people might think like, why would he need that? But I really like that you thought, and this is true, because if your campaign target audience would be younger people who have hearing aid loss, it would be right. Okay, last one. Which image drives higher conversion? It should be actually which headline, because the image is the same. Luxury business travel from Bangkok to New York, or the best way to travel around the world? Yeah, okay. Seems like you're very undecided here. Let's get a couple of more people to vote. Would be great if we can get to 70. I think roughly we always had around 70 people voting. Looks like you slightly more tend to B. Let's go and show you the answer. The answer is actually A. Why is the answer A? B is a nice headline, but we call that the richness in detail effect. So think about all the law series you watch. And someone is in front of court, and they're getting asked, hey, what did you do yesterday at 9 p.m.? And they say, like, I was at home. There was no one there. Or you say, like, hey, 9 p.m., I cooked dinner for my husband, and then we watched TV, and then we went to bed, and so on. Obviously, the judge's going to think, the more detail, that's more something to believe in. So we tend to, as people, more click on something if there's more information on it already. And what I can also tell you here in terms of the next chapter in our presentation when it comes to taking action, that if you already give a little bit more information in the headline, you pre-qualify the audience. And just by putting here the word luxury, probably when you land on the landing page, that holiday or that trip's going to cost a lot of money. And you don't want everyone to click who actually can't afford it. Cool. So that brings us to the chapter, how to get them to take action, the last chapter of our presentation. And I want you to quickly think for yourself, when you look at this image, what happened next will shock you. I give you a quick second, and then I will tell you what I think when I look at that. So when I see that spaghetti and bolognese, I imagine in the next If I click on this, I maybe get to see a video of an extremely clumsy woman, could be me in the kitchen, and probably everything goes horrible wrong, and the bolognese lands on her head. In this case, though, the campaign landed on the 10 simple ways to eat healthier without thinking. What do you probably think what happens if you as a user get such an experience? I can tell you that. You're going to leave the site, like this gentleman leaving the room now, pretty quickly, because it's not what you expected, right? So you're unhappy. You do need to set the user expectation really, really well. So don't do what happened next will shock you unless you have a shocking story to tell. So let's look at these two creatives. Very similar in image, and there's only one difference. It's the book now. So the headline is, "Here's where smart travelers are booking stays in Japan." Let's look at what happens if you probably, so action words are obviously key. Let's look at what happens if you don't click on action words. Who do you attract? So maybe someone who wants to travel to Japan, or someone who wants to travel to Asia, but maybe they're thinking of going in half a year. We're not clear. But of all the people you can reach, it's probably that amount. Quite a large pool of people who think of going to Japan. But only these two dudes are actually going to book. So you have an awful lot of people clicking, but a small amount of people converting. If we look at the other image, and that one difference, book now, gets you to this. Way smaller amount of people actually who are clicking, but the same amount of people who are converting, and what it gets you to a higher conversion rate, and probably that way you can lower your acquisition costs. So what you want to do is, specifically by put that word book now, you tell people very friendly, if you don't want to book, then please don't click on this image and make me pay for it. Similar example here, but a different style. Here we're not looking at action words, we're looking at a price point. So again, two identical creatives. The only difference is the $300, and it gets you to the same thing. It again says, like, if you're not willing to spend $300 for this foodie box, then please don't click. And all these stuff, what I showed you now when it comes to images and headlines and action words, that's obviously not something which we all knew before actually doing some tests. So key always is do some A/B tests, because even experts like at our company or at Facebook or other massive discovery firms, you know, sometimes you have a gut feel and maybe, yeah, we know some stuff, but try to prove yourself wrong and maybe have options. So A/B testing is literally always really important. So now we talked about data and about storytelling, so let's just quickly touch on distribution platforms. And as we were in the beginning of the presentation talking so much about mobile, I just wanted to mention here again that obviously nowadays mobile is so extremely important. And still in my day-to-day, I don't see that many people who are prepared for a mobile only and a mobile first strategy. And actually, I do hate these marketing terms, but there is some truth to it. We do need to prepare at it, because if I look at publisher sites, for instance, our supply, more and more people, you know, use apps or use their mobile phones to read the news. Desktop is diminishing. Still relevant today, but probably in 2 years from now, I tell you something slightly different. So it's just important, you know, to have a mobile first story. And there's one thing what comes to mind when I spoke to you about images earlier. I said like black and white works particularly well, but actually only on desktop. On mobile, not so much. And the reason for that is, if you look also here at the little demonstration, that the share of voice of a certain content piece or product is always way higher than on desktop, right? This is not Times Square. This is more like Piccadilly Circus, maybe, if you've been in London. There's less light, it's less crazy, and therefore colorful pictures actually work way better. Now I wanted to bring one more thing. People often say after presentations, no one ever shows numbers, and no one ever says who's actually working with someone and how is it working. So I have now 2 case studies for you. One quick here and then a video afterwards. That's Salesforce. You all know the brand, and you probably all know that they have a CRM tool, what salespeople like me like to use. And what they've basically done, and what I can recommend as a mobile strategy, what works extremely well. In the native world, have a video and get people excited, video, get the attention, get the awareness. In this case, it would have been even better to have subtitles, because usually, as you know, we're not always having our headphones on like today. So that would have been even greater here. But what we then did is, like, everyone who watched the video got retargeted. Sorry, I'm just irritated with the clapping. Got retargeted with a static ad, and then we got them to download something. So having video and text play together works really, really nicely. First videos to capture people's attention, and then in the next step, when they appear somewhere in our network, you send them to a direct page, and then you get great download rates like here. Another great thing for your mobile strategy, and there I want to let someone else talk. We didn't check that the sound's going to work.
Blinkist is an app that
works? Okay, brilliant. So this is Blinkist, and it's a really cool company. I let them talk.
That you can read or listen to in 15 minutes. Hi, my name is Therese, and I work for Blinkist. Blinkist started when 3 of the founders were in university. One of them, he used to summarize books, and he would share these summaries with friends of his, other people in his class. It proved to be really valuable. We have this really great product, and we need to find a way of reaching people to tell them about it.
And that's where Taboola fits in. I'm Sandra. I'm a marketing manager at Blinkist. The point of native advertising is that you're advertising to people, but it doesn't look like an ad. And what this means on a website like Huffington Post or Business Insider is that we're able to reach a kind of traffic that is already curious.
Taboola, because they have partnerships with a lot of publications out there, they reach outside of our current audience.
One of my favorite features about Taboola is S2S tracking. And that just means as an app, we're able to track all of our in-app events like installs, actions, and also purchases, which allows me to optimize my campaigns really well.
I mean, if you think about Blinkist as a company that wants to enable everyone to learn, then I really see working with Taboola to be a key step in achieving that.
Yeah. I hope you all paid really attention to this clip. I forgot to tell you up front that we're going to have one very detailed question. So let's go to our questions here, Nina, please. Yeah. So the question is, can we see it? Okay, quick. Okay, before we do the question, it's good to see who is doing well. Dominic, I hope it wasn't the guy who left the room because he's doing extremely well. Mario, a second. Caro still didn't make it to the top again. Sorry, I'm basically picking on her because she's my friend, just in case. I'm not picking on a random person. Okay, let's go to the next question. Get ready. It's a tricky one. The tattoo in the video, which the blonde woman had on her arm, what was it? Was it the letter T? Was it the Blinkist company logo? Was it an anchor? Or was it a rose? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. The letter T, oh my God, guys, brilliant. You certainly gave this video good attention. Very well done. It's correct. Next one. And we're already basically at the end of this presentation. I was joking in the beginning, we're not going to do the entire 90 minutes. That's such an overkill. So the 3 things I want you to remember. Nobody is too busy. It's a matter of priorities. Just on a side note, remember what I said in the beginning. Stop using that word busy. You know, tell people what you're really up to and make it a priority if they are a priority. Eyes are the window to the soul. And make sure to stick out. Last question, guys. I let you take a picture of my quotes, and then we go to the last question, and then we're going to have a winner, and then we can do some questions. Cool. Okay, so quickly checking who made it to the top. So Dominic is still ahead. Mario has a chance to still make it. For the rest, I'm sorry, it's probably the last question's not going to help you to win. Get ready. By what % does the CTR increase on food picks in Germany around Easter? +10, -50, +87, or +186? There's some cheating going on in the front row, but it's like school, I know. Very well done. So if you remember nothing, then you have something nice to remember from this presentation. Let's find the winner, and then I would ask the winner to come to the front and get their prize. Dominic is probably getting ready. Mario maybe as well. Oh. And it is Dominic. Well done. Come to the front, everyone. Clap. There's an awful lot of cool stuff in there, believe me. Take care. Congrats. Well done. All right, guys. This is it. Now you can ask me questions if you want to. Do you mind giving me that? If there are questions.
Hi, thanks for everything. Just
a second. I can't hear you very well. It's very quiet. Yeah? Now try again.
Just an easy question. Can we get your slides, or is it a secret?
Actually, no, I don't mind. Yeah, I can get you the slides. I think if I go to the next... here, my email address. Just email me. I'm happy to send it to you. Obviously, not to everyone.
So
yeah? Pleasure. Anyone else? Come on, don't be shy. I mean, I embarrassed myself for the last hour, so someone can come up and say something.
Hi, I'm Dennis. My question is, for the very beginning, or at the very beginning, you said that you think it's bullshit or rubbish with the attention rates on the internet. So I wonder how you prove that, because you just said that, but you didn't say any studies prove that the attention rates are actually higher. And within the presentation, a few things I would say were arguments for low attention rates, like face recognition, what's obviously linked to pattern recognition.
So first of all, that was my personal opinion, that I say that attention spans are not necessarily shorter. I think there's just an awful lot of out there, and people make decisions. But if something really captures your attention, you know, you have time. And it's not like, if you go and read this Microsoft study, you can literally just Google Microsoft and attention span and how they did it. And I wasn't convinced by the way they did it. This 1 second really proves that we can focus less on something. And I think with the Netflix example, I just really wanted to show if there's good content and if there's a story behind something, you know, it's super easy to spend a long time on content and actually consume it.
But would you say that Netflix is actually a high attention rate, or is Netflix just consuming while doing something else and putting attention on the phone? So actually the attention rate itself for deep attention, what you actually need to consume content consciously, is not really there for Netflix. I think in most of the time.
I don't know what you're watching. When I'm watching, I'm like always like can't do anything else. I'm like stuck there for 4 hours. We would probably need to ask the Netflix guys. They probably do a lot of studies around, I don't know, dual screens, or whether actually people are spending a lot of time just watching it completely by focusing just on that. I do believe it's more like this because, you know, it's a TV experience, and they have an incredible strong content out there. But it's debatable. I like that you asked that. Cool. If there are no more questions, guys, thank you so much for listening to me.